Greetings, Israel, Judah, Shabbat Shalom. This is your brother DFG. Hey, my brothers and sisters, I hope that you're in a place where you are settled in and I guess hunkered down as you celebrate, the 7th day that is given to us by Abba Yahuah. Today, I think the message that Yah has given me to bring to my brothers and sisters, it's going to be, I believe, inspiring, and I hope you find this message inspiring as well. It's going to be, we're going to be sharing Gid'on, one of our brothers, one of our prophets, one of the chosen of many over the span of our time as the chosen of Israel, where Abba Yah selected one individual from amongst us and gave that individual the wisdom, the drive, the insight, the passion, to work within Israel to deliver Abba Yah's people from the hands of their oppressors. And so my intention, Yah willing, is to do my best to articulate it, do my best to hit all of the key learnings in hopes that, the message will resonate inside of each and one of our hearts to keep us encouraged in these last, bitter, evil days. We had our Zoom study on last night, and it was a very good study, good conversation. I shouldn't say study meeting, it's more appropriate. And inside of the meeting, Abba Yah kind of grabbed me by the collar, and of course, then, when Abba Yah grabs one of his messengers, whatever comes out, comes out. And many times, even as the messenger, you kind of walk away and you're looking back, and because that's how I felt. I'm just expressing my inner feelings after the Zoom call, and I found myself feeling like a lion that has just been in battle protecting, his territory. In other words, protecting those who are around him. A lion. And after the battle, he shakes his mane. He shakes his mane, and he's just like, you can see the energy on him is so strong that, no other lion wants to come near him, lioness or lion. The young, the old, all of them know, hey, let me get away from this guy right now, because it seems like his energy is still pretty ferocious. And I kind of had that feeling last night. And so, I think that it was Abba Yah's will. I don't always like to get caught by surprise. And Abba Yah is no respecter of person. Like, he catches many of us by surprise. Situations come up on us that we had no idea that was coming. And, then our actions inside of those situations are sometimes beyond what we even thought would happen, or beyond even sometimes, our ability, our mental mindset. And we walk away like saying, wow, man, how much good or how much damage was that all about? Hallelujah. But if Yah's in it, then it's for the good. Although sometimes it looks bad, sometimes it feels like, I don't know, Abba Yah, how the people received it. But then at the end of the day, it's not really up for me to know. And sometimes as Israel, especially the leaders among us, we don't always understand, but we do know that whatever Abba Yah places upon our heart as a command, he's not going to ask our permission whether or not we're going to do it. He's going to direct us to do it. And as we continue to be obedient, he'll continue to utilize, us as a chauffeur or a vessel for his people. And that's a good thing. And on those occasions when some of us decide that, we're not going to do it or we're going to resist it, then there's typically hell to pay. So I just wanted to share that and bring that out, especially to my brothers and sisters who were on the call last night, on the Zoom meeting call with us last night. I think it's a great group of people. All of them love Abba Yahuah. And to me, I just felt honored to be amongst, that group. And I just hope that Abba Yah continues to strengthen, us as a group, so that we can continue to strive to be a light and a pathway, for the elect of Israel. And I know we're not many, and we'll look. This story is really going to break that out for us, But I know we're not many. I know many of us are feeling ostracized by a lot of our family members. Some of us thought that, man, when we came into the light, our family would be excited and proud of us and put their arms around us, only to find out, that we became, their enemies. They became adversarial against us because, unbeknownst to us, that darkness that we were coexisting in with them, that we weren't happy with, and many times they gave us the impression they weren't happy with that darkness, or the things that were going on in their lives, our lives, as we were sharing our experiences together, only to find out that they were comfortable with it. They were just complaining because, Israel loves to complain. Israel is notorious, for complaining and also nefarious because of the inactivity. Old James Brown, the artist, had a verse in a song. I forgot the name of the song, but one of the verses in the song, he said, "You're talking loud, but you ain't saying nothing." They're talking loud, but saying nothing. And that's Israel. You know what I'm saying? There are times that they're talking loud, but they don't want nothing. they just want to have their little slice of the heathen pie, so that they can say, "Hey, I had me some, heathen pie." I don't know why the movie Life came to my mind when Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence burned his mouth trying to break off the prison plantation to get him a piece of pie and burned all his mouth. Oh, well, I know it had nothing to do with it. But my point is, that's Israel. Many of Israel. Not all of us, okay? But too many of us, we have all these moaning and we're groaning and we're complaining, about our condition, our circumstances, and, and asking, where is Yahuah in all of this? And Yahuah just standing there saying, I'm right here. Where are you? Where are you, Israel? And in self-reflection, we should, from time to time, we should always step back and say, where am I in all of this? What part of this am I responsible for? What part of this do I have? What part of this that I have ownership in? Because a reflective people will do that. And it's only in one doing that, one can get some sense of balance or direction, which will bring about, the necessary clarity to move forward. In this instance, moving forward means coming back to Yahuah, aligning ourselves up with his laws, statutes, and his commandments, so that we can be, victorious. We can be the head, and no longer, continue, be on the bottom of, the foot, of a wicked, lost civilization. The heathens and the 2/3 heathens and the rest of the heathens, wicked, lost civilization. And so, again, we're at the crossroads, brothers and sisters, and I think this story will help, us understand what can happen, the power of one, the power of Abba Yahuah, and at the same time, what are the standards, what are the expectations, what are the things that are going to be required of us, because, there is no free lunches in Israel. Abba Yah doesn't work like that. That's Jesus and that heathen, wicked foolishness, Christianity and all those other ones, where you do nothing but you get something for your nothingness. Someone else does the heavy lifting and you get to sit down and eat the apple pie. But in Israel, there's responsibility. In Israel, there's accountability. And in Israel, there is an expectation to do your part. And if you fail to do so, as the Proverbs say, if a man don't plant, in the spring, he doesn't eat in the fall. But that to be said, I'm going to get right on into the story, believe it or not. But inside of that story, well, let's do this. Get your hammer, get your saw, and let's see if we can chop it up a bit. Okay, my dear brothers and sisters? Okay, we're going to go to the book of Judges. We're going to start reading at chapter 6, verse 1. And again, I'm going to ask that, please, take notes. I think it's so important that whenever you are in a classroom setting and there's teaching being done, you owe it to yourself, to do your own follow-up. You owe it to yourself, to go back and do your own, reflection. You owe it to yourself to ensure that what you're being taught is consistent to what is written or available as far as the educational process that you're going through or that we're going through. If you were in college or school, grammar school, I think they would let you know real fast you need pen and paper when the lessons start. And there's no different, in any learning environment for retention and for retaining information and, to research and cross-reference. Our Bible called cross-reference, our Tanakh calls it precepts, line upon line. It's just another word, precepts, line upon line, my brothers and sisters. It's just another word for cross-referencing. Study it out. And again, this is a channel. We are people. This is a leader who's here to teach, not to tell. One of the issues that have caused our people to be in a snare of all the religions is that more cases than not, they go sit down and let somebody tell them something, make them feel good or make them feel bad, whatever they're wanting to feel. Now, sometimes it's not even a teacher. Sometimes it's a student who wants to feel bad. They're looking for victimization. They want to be the victim. They look for their pity party. And they just hope, they got their fingers crossed that just maybe this witch or wizard up there will say something to make me feel like shit because that's how I want to feel. But don't tell nobody I told y'all that. Don't tell nobody we know about that group. Don't tell them you know about that group. And then you got the other group who just, all they want is applause, like little baby, like a seal. They just want somebody to applaud them. Tell me what I want to hear. Make me feel good. Like the little nasty demon Halle Berry and Billy Bob Thornton in Monsters Ball. Just make me feel good. Just rape me. Just rape me. Make me feel good. Make me feel good. Get this pain away. Take my pain away. Come on, my oppressor. You just put my son in the electric chair. You just killed him talking about the movie. And you just showed me a picture of him. So I know you're the one who did it. But just come on, make me feel good. Come on, this whole needs you. Because Israel is always going to horn after other gods. And that's your brother. Go back and read Jeremiah chapter 6. And many other, Exodus talks about Abba Yah talking about how we go run after other Elohims. Quite frankly, when we go into this story, you will see how we ended up in our earlier oppression as we are in and still being oppressed today. And if you don't think so, then that's only because for some reason or another, you have been blinded to what's happening right in front of your very eyes. Maybe you blinded yourself. Maybe you love it so much that you don't see the wickedness in it. Maybe many of our brothers and sisters participated. I know they celebrated. We came up on the Zoom study, last night, we were talking about this sexy somebody, some little wretched looking, nasty, disease, HIV potential, STD full of tramp, if you let me call it, because that's what it looked like to me. It wouldn't be anything I would touch. If that thing came within a block of me, I would start calling out I'd go get all of my sanitation needs. I'd get all of my insecticides, all my bug spray, all my roach spray, and I'd be just a spraying everywhere. And then if I could find me a couple of, vicious, pit bulls, I'd grab them too and say, sick, if that thing come anywhere near there, go get it. But this wretched little thing has a song called, something my pink, you know what, and something my brown, you know what. And she was talking about entry and exit areas of her body. At the BET Awards, by the way. That's where I saw it. Someone brought it up, and I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? So I stepped into SHIT and looked. And man, did I have that for the quickness started wiping, off my feet. But that's the debauchery that's being celebrated in Israel. While the rest of the world looks at us, and make mockery out of us. But there we are over there like little seals clapping and celebrating because we think, she's doing something. Look at her. She's free. Look at her. She don't need nobody. She doing her. But then Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1 says exactly what's going to happen to the hers. And every one of those who are following the hers, who are celebrating it. Go read it. Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. And I'm not gonna digress and go over there, but it's just it's shameful. Is what I'm saying. And this is all about serving the gods of this world. Her behavior is all about money and fame. Give me money, give me a camera, give me money, give me a mirror, and I will sell my ass for a dime, a bunch of dimes. And the men are not much better than that either. So because inside the video, you have wretched ass men standing right there celebrating her. Like you said, I want a man with long locks. So specifically calling out the brothers with the locks. Because they are the ones who are morally gladly, satisfy her STD ravish body using part of their body that's supposed to be for food and water intake. And I'm keeping it clean for a reason. Maybe children listening. But somebody needs to call out this wretchedness. The politicians are not going to call it out. The pastor damn sure ain't going to call it out. Most fathers are not going to say anything because they're more concerned about, half of them like looking at, and the other half concerned about whether or not it's going to cause a problem, and they won't get sexual access because they're calling it out. And some of them are just so effeminized that, again, they just don't even think it matters. Effeminized. In other words, they have totally walked away from the core components of one's nature that identifies him from male versus female. And I'm not talking about genitalia. I'm talking about mindset. But that's where we are. And unfortunately, there's the momentum, the flywheel effect is picking up speed. And so if you have little children, brothers and sisters, of Israel, I'm telling you, you need to keep a close eye on everything they're watching, everything they're listening to. You need to be constantly raising them up in the scripture. I'm talking about having Bible studies with them, even sit in on when this message is playing in your house. Set them down and say, just sit in. Don't worry about whether or not they understand it. They understand what they're listening on the other side. The side that lead that big group to hell. They'll understand that as a 2-3-year-old. And I say that, without, disrespecting anyone. It is what it is. So you should be thinking where your counterweight is. You know what I'm saying? Don't let the scale be like this. Your job is to get it here and then ultimately get it there, parent or parents. If you don't want to see your child destroyed by these heathens, because that's their job. They've been hired to destroy them. We call it entertainment. They call it manipulation. We think it's a game, and they think it's about changing lifestyles. And they know, talking about the heathens who are behind this foolishness, the 2/3 heathens and the rest of these heathens all over this earth. They know that the only game changer that they fear is our people waking up and turning back to Yahuah. Coming out of all this idolatry, religion, false saviors, or saviors who may be able to save the heathen, but they sure not going, that savior's not going to save you. If there's white Jesus and brown, black Jesus and white, brown, pink and Arab and olive color Buddha, Muhammad or whatever was going to do any damn thing, you would see the results by now. Farrakhan and that idiot group over there been running around here since the early 1930s and they ain't changed a damn thing. Well, they changed men, brothers. They still haven't changed a damn thing. Men who are changed are supposed to influence their communities. Now walk around with suits selling bean pies and newspapers, waiting for their Savior's Day meeting, so everybody can feel, good because they're having their, their players' ball. Using the phrase from the movie The Mac. But just this debauchery upon debauchery is what got us where we are, brothers and sisters. And this debauchery on top of debauchery is what's going to cause, Abba Yah's judgment to be harsher on us. Deuteronomy talks about the famine to come, the slave ship that's going to return, to take our people back to Africa. They call it the wilderness. The heathens call it the jungles where they got you from. And many of our people are buying that up too, so desperate, for restoration, that they'll follow anything or anyone, male or female, with rags on their head and soft voices who know how to cry so sweet. Teach so well, sound like educators, manipulated educators, double agents, never show their faces. And the ones who do, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if they stop showing there. Oh, I know you can say the same thing about me, but I don't give a damn. Okay, for you who think that way. But I can take the hit. If I can give it, I can take it. What I'm talking about is the truth. But let us go into the Word. I'll be like Yahuah, and I hope through these references, cross-references, precepts, that we have a better understanding of where we are, how we got here, and the power of Yahuah in one to get us out. If it happened before, it can happen again. Now, this story is not only about our people at a certain period of time, but this story can also be expanded to our people as a whole in these last days. Abba Yah's judgment. So keep that in mind as we move forward in this Shabbat study. Okay. The book of Judges, chapter 6. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yahuah. Now, I just gave you some examples of what evil looks like. Celebrating the heathens' holidays. Celebrating individuals for their wicked debauchery, for their abominable behavior, for their despicable behavior. Serving other Elohims or gods. In all of those religions, including Christianity. Making gods out of people, saying that God has a woman counterpartner. Now that's some wicked, wicked foolishness. But then again, it's nothing new there. That's where Diana came from. Tammuz, Isis. And I wrote down some other goddess, for all of you women worshipers. This is for you. Just so you'll know, you think you're woke. You're not woke. You're just seduced. You're under a spell, and you're going to go to hell for it if you don't repent. But there were many of them, these so-called Greek, who later became Roman gods. And here's a few of their names. Hera, H-E-R-A, the goddess of marriage, jealous and with a jealous and very vengeful nature. I talked about this already. Demetra, the goddess of the harvest. That's why they celebrate and were giving their babies in a lot of these heathen nations during the harvest season to make sure they had the crops were going to be good. They would sacrifice children. They would give their gods babies, the blood of their babies. Their newborns mostly. The children. That's where Easter come out of. Esther, god of fertilization. Just so we know. Hallelujah. Let us go on, my brother, my sisters, brothers and sisters. Then you have another goddess, Artemis, the goddess of wild animals. She shapeshifts. That's probably your transgenders. Where that's coming from. Your Tyler Perrys. Oh, that's that type of demon spirit. They shapeshift. Here's another goddess, Artemis. Well, I just talked about Artemis. Here's another goddess, Athea, like the insurance company. Probably not saying that right. Athena, the goddess of wisdom, war, and witchcraft. And this is the one that all these sisters over here talking about, all these brothers over here talking about, I pray to the God of wisdom. Wisdom is a female god. No, wisdom is Athea. And it's a Greek-Roman mythological god. Has nothing to do with Abba Yahuah. It's a spirit. It's probably I guess what you would have to call, a man spirit in a woman, so a lesbian spirit. Or a woman spirit in a man, I guess that would make it a homosexual spirit, whichever way you want to look at it. So it's a male pretending to be a female, so I guess a lesbian spirit would be appropriate. I'm talking about something to compare and contrast with it. So you have a better understanding, all of you who are praying to your wisdom woman God. Never understanding that's a metaphor. And a metaphor should have never equated to mythology. Mythology should have never, that you confuse yourself with it because you were not well studied. And when we tried to bring it to your attention, you attacked us. And now y'all gonna let you believe in your female, goddess, your wisdom goddess. And you're not getting any wisdom, by the way, from your wisdom goddess. How strange. Well, brother, I know it exists. That's your wisdom. That's the level of your wisdom. So that's your revelation that it's a wisdom goddess, but yet you're still dumb as a bag of damn rocks. You don't know the difference between an outhouse and a White House, and you over talking about your wisdom. You praying to wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge and information and changing. It has the power to influence, to bring things to life. It's the power to understand life in its totality. What makes the body function properly? What keeps you strong? What generates trust? How discipline is important. How chastisement is encouragement. Love. So there's wisdom, woman wisdom, goddess that these folk chasing after, my brothers and sisters. Those of you who are not aware of it, or those of you who are aware of those who are doing so, look at their lives and tell me, or don't tell me, look at their lives for yourself and ask yourself, are these people walking in wisdom? Or are they just running around here with the latest new thing, thinking that they know something or they're something because they know something different? And they've convinced themselves that somehow with that knowledge, they're better people. I'll give you, let's see, maybe one more. That's enough, huh, guys? You all agree? That's enough of that, okay? But again, doing evil in the sight of Abba Yahuah. That's how we ended up in the situation and the circumstances of what we're falling. And again, I want to tell my brothers and sisters, this evil that is befalling upon us has nothing to do with an unjust Elohim. It doesn't. And for you atheists out there, you're blaming the wrong person. You're blaming the Creator who gave you life. And now with the life you have, you're attacking that life giver. And I'm not talking about your mama and your daddy. The very fact that you are here is the definition that he exists. And if he didn't love you, your pop probably would have, you would have been, one of them, nights that he probably should have took a cold shower before he went to bed, because he ended up having to take a shower later on anyway. And you brothers know what I'm talking about. Some of our people would have been better off if their father would have made that decision instead of, tapping the missus on the shoulder. Or the miss. Let us continue forward. Tough talk, brothers and sisters, should never be afraid of. No one should. You shouldn't let tough talk. If you get offended, okay, then what? An offended man becomes more emboldened if he realized that offense was unjust. He does not run. He does not name call. He seeks to get a better understanding of where is this going and what are you looking for? Are you asking for a confrontation? Or if there's supposed to be edification that I'm not quite getting. See, that's what wisdom would look like in a man who understands that strong words are not to destroy. And again, that's for some of my brothers out there who just you're dealing with, you're going through something, and I know you're in search of it. But you're never going to find it if you're going to run every time you hear something you don't like. That's called pissing in the wind. In other words, you about to wet yourself. Find a way to stay. Find it in yourself to say, you know what, I'm going to keep on listening. See where this goes. You're invited to. At least on this channel you are. Let us continue on. And the hand of the Midians prevailed against Israel. And by the way, just as a cross-reference in Deuteronomy 28, 64 and 65, it lines right up with, the children did evil in the sight of Yahuah. Let's go there real quick. Just a quick reference, okay? It's Shabbat. We study. You don't have to be in a hurry. Deuteronomy 28, 64 to 65. And Yahuah shall scatter you among all people, from all the end of this earth, which is not a globe or a ball. How many times I got to tell you, ball don't have no end to it. It's an infinite circle. Earth has an edge or an end, surrounded by a giant ice wall. And then there are other, one might call earths, maybe some call heavens. Nimrod and that group knew about it. That's what they were trying to penetrate. If you just think of the logic of that story, they couldn't have been going straight up. You'd have been building forever. A plane flies at, 36,000 feet? And it's still far, far beyond the firmament, or beneath the firmament. So what kind of tower would they have been building? They would have had to have technology that doesn't even exist today if they were going straight up to the heavens. The heavens are north. Outwardly. Again, Deuteronomy 28:64. And Yahuah shall scatter you among all the people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there you will serve their gods. That's how we got into Jesus, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Judaism, Buddhism, and all the other isms that are junior isms from those isms, or branches of all those different religions. They have the same, characteristics, but different ideologies. That you will serve other gods, which neither you nor your fathers have known, even wood and stone gods. And really shameful, like in these religions that our brothers and sisters are in right now, our forefathers didn't do that stuff. They wasn't practicing Islam. They weren't practicing any form of Christianity. They would have never bowed down to those heathen Roman gods or oppressors. They would have shunned them, with everything in their bodies. We saw examples of that of the mother in Maccabees and her sons. They gave up their lives rather than just eat a piece of abominable food. You think they would have served those abominable gods? Those other religions? We've always been told to serve Yahuah and Yahuah only. Isaiah 43 tells us that. I am your Savior. I am your Redeemer. I am Israel and Judas alone. You are mine. Moses was telling us when Yah gave him the tablets. He's sovereign, and he hates any of us who serves other Elohims. Exodus chapter 20, verse 4 and verse 5. He tells us again in Exodus 22. And what is that, 20? 21? But it's all through the book. I am Elohim. No other Elohims. None. I don't share my throne with anybody. When a king shares his throne, that's called a coup. That's called a government takeover. He's no longer king. Yah just pleading to us through some of us, pleading with us through some of us to challenge you just to think about it, at least consider it. Don't let the proverb that sits in Isaiah chapter 1 where it says the ass knows its owner, the ox is master's crib, but Israel don't know anything and they won't even consider. They don't know Yahuah and they won't even consider knowing Yahuah except they bring in some garbage with them. Some heathen practices with them. Some heathen beliefs with them. We're not Christians, but we study the New Testament, which is written for Christians. Make it make sense. Verse 65, and among these nations you shall find no ease or no peace. And I think we all can agree with that. No peace. Neither shall the sole of your foot have rest. There's no rest for the weary. Working 2 jobs, many of us, and still can't make ends meet. Some of us have worked ourselves into sickness. I'm not one of them, but I'm just saying some of our people. Some of our people literally died on the job, worked themselves to death. I have a brother. I respect him. I love him. Hard-working man. Worked 2 jobs all of his adult life, only to retire from one of the 2 jobs. And then within a couple of years, brain tumor, stroke, and now can't work, period. Just trying to take care of his family. Because he could have never done it on a salary that they were willing to pay a black man, so-called. We have to think about this. What I got to do to own, what I got to do to have. Look, brothers and sisters, you own nothing in this earth. You possess it for a while, but you own nothing. And the cemetery is proof of that. Because you're not taking anything with you in that hole or that incinerator or wherever you end up at. Crematory. And we confuse possessing something with owning it. And that's why we will kill and lie and steal and sell our bodies and make mockery out of ourselves and let ourselves be exploited. Because we think that somehow we do all those things, we'll own it and it'll be mine. And yet life and death itself clearly establishes, no, it isn't. You're only possessing it for a while. And then somebody else going to get it. And if we would just take a little time for some clarity, we would understand that. Because in understanding that and knowing that we can't own it, we're only in possession of it, then we would be more wise with it. We'd be more willing to share it. And not just with your little babies and your family. You would share it holistically with Israel, those who you know that our Yah has put in your path to help. Well, how will I know that, brother? Get connected with Yah. He'll tell you. I can assure you. He'll identify how to plant it in good soil so that it bring forth good fruit. So you don't be putting it in bags, money with bags, like giving it to these heathens who are teaching these lies. Because they know that lies draw flies. Because flies love that wicked honey. I'm not talking about the healthy stuff. The honey of words, smooth words. What did David say? Their words were smooth as what? Butter. Soft as oil. But they had an evil intent. But Yahuah gave them a trembling heart and failing eyes and a sorrow of mind. Sorrow of mind. And that's the reward for rebellion against Abba Yahuah. And we don't have to look far to find a group of people holistically who are still a part of a revealing of those two verses. In other words, if I was looking for people who these two verses best describe, most of our people, all you got to do is just get up out the bed or off the floor or from under the bridge, from under the tent, out of the shelter, and you know exactly who the hell this is talking to. A special people, or the people who are the apple of Abba Yah's eye, but have decided to stump their nose up against Abba Yah because they love what the heathens have, and they sense the heathen has all the goodies, then they believe that the heathen's God has to be the right way to go. And the heathen's God is Mammon. And the heathen God strives off of blood in return for Mammon. And we don't have to go into the genetics conversation and other things. Because then I would never finish up Judges. But it's a seed. What I mean is something to at least you should consider. When that proverb says that, again, Israel, don't know who they are and they won't even consider. It's a warning that this evil will befall you until you understand you. And you'll never understand you until you understand who created you. And you'll never understand why he created you until you open up your heart and hear him guide you into your purpose. And then you do everything that life provides in you to fulfill it. And then you'll be rewarded. Here and in the life to come. You don't do Jesus over here. You don't have to die to get a mansion here. Striving to get a mansion is not wise, truth be told. You have a lot of empty space with nothing going on. And sooner or later, people are going to get used to you having a mansion and nobody's going to come see you because they're going to feel bad every time they come around you. Especially if they can't fleece you. Then you're going to be sitting there with all that stuff just watching it get old right along with yourself. Loving wood and stone, your gods, as was just written here, as was just shared. Hear me loud, my brothers and sisters. Hear me clear. Now, we're at the 45-minute mark. If you're still here, thumb up the video. All you're doing is helping the algorithms. If I've said this much that you agree with, or at least you're considering, thumb it up. Right now, I ask of you. Because that's helping as well. Thumb it up. Let's go on. Book of Judges, chapter 6. Again, verse 2. And the hand of the Midians prevailed against Israel because of the Midianites and the children of Israel, because of the Midianites and the children of Israel were made, and because of the Midianites, the children of Israel made them dens which were in the mountains and caves and in strongholds. In other words, because of our enemies had their foot so strong upon us, we end up going into almost, well, I guess we call them, neighborhoods or communities, urban areas. Because we were so oppressed by our enemies that we, started looking for housing where we could all be together, which eventually became what they call today project housing, or at least they encouraged that. And then took the men out and then encouraged the mothers with their children coming to these boroughs, these neighborhoods, which became ghettos and areas of exploitation. So we could hide from extreme poverty. Still impoverished, but not so bad as though, living in houses maybe with holes in the floors. Where critters and vermin and stuff can come in. Leaking ceilings, what have you, would have been if you've been out in these rural areas. So it was easy to say, come hide in the hood. Come on in here. Come on into the cities. Come on into the inner cities. We're leaving anyway. That's what the heathens did to us. Just something, a point of reference here. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying this is an exact reference, but we were hiding from the world in the hood. How you think our sons were out there killing each other for corners to push narcotics, drive-by shooting because of owning areas that they didn't own. My hood, my gang, my set, or whatever terminology you were using. Never realizing this was all a part of a broader scheme by the heathens who Yahuah allowed to judge Israel. Taught us to hate our own selves, hate our own people, sell drugs and promote whoredom within our own communities, rob, you name it. And now you got the wretched little whores and whorettes, the men, dancing and singing about it. And the rest of the unlearned celebrating them dancing and singing about it. To our own destruction, or to their own destruction. So very short shelf life on being, a hood rat. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to say something else to you young men out here. I'm hearing a lot of you when you're talking to these sisters out here, our daughters of Zion, calling them bro. Bro, what you talking about, bro? Bro, you can't do that, bro. Where you get that from? Bro is short for brother. So why are you calling your sisters men? You call this, slaying and being cool. Abiyah called it an abomination. And then when she started acting like a man, you and your feelings. Stop calling your sisters brothers. They're women. Females. You know what that is? They're not your bro. And when she start calling you nigga because you calling her bro, don't get in your damn feelings. That's my nigga. But then again, some of you have already embraced that terminology as well. Bywords and proverbs. As the book said what happened to us in Abiyah's judgment. As the curse. As a curse. Stop it. You can't say you against, transgenderism and homosexuality, and yet you use, those same terms to address one another. She my woman and she my bro? Well, bro, you don't understand. That just mean, look, I've been around a lot longer than you. You're not the first one to come up with slang. We had it too. We were once young like you and stupid sometimes like you. Or dumb, whatever word you want to use to make you feel better, okay? Young and dumb. Stupid. What it means. But thank Yahuah for his grace and mercy. Some of us learned. We kept growing, still learning, still growing. What about you? Because that's not going to happen if you can't take criticism. I said that earlier. God's not going to bless your mess. Your slang, your belief, your concepts, your precepts. It's cursed. So you can't bless it. It's a judgment. And you're speaking it on each other. A curse, that you're speaking as a judgment on one and each other. Tongue is a powerful weapon. Verse 3. And it was so, when Israel had sown, that the Midianites came up, and the Amalekites, and their children of the east, even they came up against them. In other words, while we were doing the work, they were reaping the benefits. Just like Deuteronomy says, you're going to plant fields, and someone else is going to reap the benefit of your crops. Nothing new under the sun. All part of the curse. Because Abiyah was angry at us. And for what reason, brothers and sisters? Because we decided to serve other Elohims. And this is why your brother come out against this stuff so strongly. Because I see the judgment. I can look at the judgment. All up and down the inner city streets, urban streets, whatever they calling them. I see the judgment. You do too. But you still run into these churches and you still run with these camps. These so-called communities, or whatever they're calling themselves. You still run with them. Acting as though you don't see any of this stuff. And many of these people believe the same way you believe. You call yourself a Christian, you studying Corinthians. They say they're not a Christian, and they studying Corinthians too. Make it make sense. Solomon said well in 14 and 12, Proverbs is a way that seemed right to a man, but the end of their will destroy his mind or her mind. Bring about intelligent insanity. They sound very intelligent and they're insane. Because they can't even look at something logical and draw the conclusion that is illogical. Did that right? Yeah, they can't look at something logical you know, and not draw the conclusion yet that, you know, what they're thinking is illogical. Better said. Thank you, Yahuah. Verse 4. And they encamped against them or surrounded them and destroyed the increase of the earth until you come into Gaza. And they left no substance for Israel, neither sheep nor ox nor food. In essence, starvation. So bad that you can go over to 2 Kings 6 and 25. Where they were selling a donkey's head. Matter of fact, let's go over there. Again, the Shabbat. 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 25. And there was a great famine in Samaria. And behold, they besieged our people, surrounded our people. That's what siege is, or besieging. Surrounded our people. Until an ass's head was sold for 40 pieces of silver, and the forepart of the cab of a dove's poop, manure, was sold for 5 pieces of silver. So look at the price of silver today, and you'll get an idea of what it possibly was costing them. How much is a silver coin worth? That's a shekel. And then you get an idea. You have 40 silver coins. What's the worth of them? That's what they were paying for an ass's head or a donkey's head. That's how bad it was. And guess what, brothers and sisters? Very soon, that's how bad it's about to get. The elect of us, we're not going to experience that kind of starvation. We'll have to learn how to live without question. We'll lose a lot of these so-called modern day conveniences that they claim artificial intelligence, which isn't artificial at all, is supposed to provide. No, that is there to guide and to control and to destroy everything that is not like it. What is it? The intelligence part of artificial that we all seem to miss. The living part of it. Let's go back. Judges chapter 6, verse 5. And they came up with their cattle and their tents, and they came as grasshoppers, talking about our enemies, for multitude, for both they and their camels were without number, and they entered into the land to destroy it. And we've seen that with pollution and everything else, these wicked here. The water's polluted, the air is polluted, the food now is being contaminated, GMO'd, the cattle, the poultry, anything these heathens get their hands on, they find a way to destroy. That's how you know who they're talking about right here. Who fits the description of the oppressed and who fits the description of the oppressor is how you know Israel from the heathens. It's not rocket science, brothers and sisters. You just have to take a step back and consider so that you can be informed and then make intelligent decisions. And being part of religions of any type is unintelligent for us, for Israel, because these are the consequences that it brings. So if these are the consequences that it brings, how is it intelligent? For them, it works. For us, it doesn't. That's why they're the head and we're the tail. But we go back to Yahuah, Deuteronomy 28, from 1 to 14. He says it'll be just the opposite. Their gods are blessing them because they obey their gods. And their gods are blessing them because they're oppressing us, because that's mandated by their gods, whether they admit it to you or not. That's why they always want you around them and always want to tell you how great, how beautiful you are, how much they love you, how much they appreciate you. You're one of the good ones. Right, Candace Owen and Piggly Wiggly, Jason Whitlock. and the rest of these demonic cohorts, plows and plowshares, because that's all they are. And when them heathens finish with them, they're going to break them. But we're not talking about them right this moment. We're talking about us serving our own Elohim, who will bless us 100 times more than their wicked ones can bless them. Because when you see and understand what Abba Yah has for those of us who love him, Isaiah 64, I think 64, 65. Let's go over there right quick. Again, it's Shabbat. I'm not going anywhere, you. Look what it says, Isaiah 64 and 4. It says, since the beginning of time, man have not heard, nor perceived by ear, means understanding. Neither has he seen in his vision. Can't imagine something so beautiful. Think about the most beautiful thing you could ever want, brothers and sisters. The most beautiful place you could ever be, brothers and sisters. Abba Yah said, you're not even close to what he has prepared for those of us who love him. Not only are we going to see it and hear it, we're going to inherit it. Why we fight? That's why we fight. Why we stand, why we came out, this is why we have come out. What's in it for us? That's what's in it for us in the end. For those who choose to stay that other way, you can read Isaiah 66 and go right on over there to verse 24 to find out how it's going to end for those or them. Don't be one of them. Just read Isaiah 66 and 24. You'll see what's going to happen to them. Read 64 and 4 and you'll find out what's promised to us and what's going to happen to us. And in the meantime, we're going to be in that smooth, cool, dry place that we leave before. I can't wait. I can't wait, but I'm excited to know that that's what happens after I leave this wicked place. What says you? How do you feel about it? Would you like to inherit that type of beauty, my brothers and sisters? Undescribable, unbeknownst to you. You can imagine it, but you're not going to get close to it. Or you think that it would just be easy to do nothing, continue doing what you've been doing. Definition of insanity, expecting something to change, and only to end up where you become a transgressor in a place where your fire will never be put out. And when people look at your body, they're going to think they're looking at the most wicked, tormented demon ever created by mankind because of the distortion of what your body and your pain is going to look like to us who obeyed. Again, Isaiah 66:24. I just explained to you how it reads for those who choose to continue in the way they're going. But for those of us, like I said earlier in this message, don't let them shame you. They're the fools, not us. We were foolish like that. We came out. They can still come out. But don't let them shame you for the truth. Don't let them shame you for your stand. Take your stand and be proud of it. Okay? You're going somewhere. You're moving up in this world, as they say. For real. Let us continue on. And brothers and sisters, I'm going to read a little bit more. And, because brother, no, I'm not going to do whatever Yah tells me to do. Because that's what happens when you start considering men. You want to, I know they're just going long. Hey, look, just do, watch it in 2 segments. All right? Watch it in 10 segments. But we're going to go as long as Abba Yah want us to go. Okay? Praise Yah. Let's go. Picking back up. Judges, chapter 6, verse 6. And Israel was greatly impoverished because of the Midianites. Greatly impoverished. That means very poor, brothers and sisters. Look around you. You know any family members that are very poor? Well, brother, poor ain't just money. I know. I know it's not just money. Are they in poor health? Are they in a poor education system? Do they know Yahuah? That makes you poor. If you're ignorant to who your own creator is, that's poor in mind. Are there lenders? Are there borrowers? Do they issue credit, or do they go and try to get credit? All of those are definitions of poverty. Do they have to rob and kill and steal to get ahead? That's another definition of poverty. Do they have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to make sure they can have a standard middle-class life? Another definition of poverty. Do their sons and daughters, exploit their bodies to make money? Another definition of poverty. And I can go on. How much time you got? But then again, it would be a waste of time. Because if you can't see the poverty all around you, that's only because Yahuah has blinded you to it. Or, even worse, maybe you are a perpetuator of it. You're working with the enemy, like in many of these churches, to keep our people, disconnected to their true power source, Yahuah. That's what the NAACP was doing in the 1900s. Still doing it probably. Right along with your pastors and your government officials, your local government officials, those you elected, along with the military that you support that's put in place to suppress you, at least home, your National Guardsmen. And your educators. Taught you nothing about who you were and everything about who they are. And then told you just be proud to be an American. What about the benefits? Don't worry about the benefits. That ain't for you. Just be proud to be American. Lincoln freed the slaves. Now, don't ask me no more questions. That's your educators. That's not your brother. Okay. And Lincoln ain't free a damn thing. Because when a year later, all people right back on them damn plantations. Sharecropping, prison lease system, and more. And like they are this very day. In the penitentiary at. Look around, where your men at? Where a lot of these mothers at, where these kids are in these adoption homes and orphanages or wherever they taking them. That's the lucky ones, the fortunate ones. The other ones probably been sex trafficked and sent off to who knows where, slaughtered, long time ago. Nobody's long forgotten. Innocent babies. Because of your poverty, because of your idolatry. Talking about the idolatry that was pushed upon us, that we have rather accept that than to come back home and trust Yahuah's truth. And then they're hating on you because you're saying, no, for me it's the Torah, and it's nothing but the Torah. I don't care what y'all think. And I say it all the time too. And I'll say it to you if you're listening to me. I don't care if you're a Christian. I don't care if you love Jesus. That's on you. Or Yahushua, whatever name. I don't care any of that stuff. You do whatever you want to do. Anything you want to do it. I'm going to take these eyeglasses off so you can see my eyes, so you can see I'm looking right at you. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm not even mad at you. Now I got a problem with you when you try to push it on me and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Now you're being confrontational, and we gonna go at each other. Cause I ain't taking your shit, but I'm okay with you doing what you want to do. It's your life. It's your soul. I know what I'm gonna do, and I know others who are like-minded as myself. I know what we gonna do, and that's serve Yahuah. Whether your ass like it or not. So go away, please. Fly away, like a Jenny and Forrest Front. Fly away. Fly. Ooh. Fly away, please. Go away. Shoo. Shoo, fly. Don't bother me. Oh, you can stay, but please be quiet. Don't land on me. I don't like maggots or maggot carriers. Because maggots eat dung, and those who like eating dung typically are full of shit. Let us go on. All religions are dung, or anything affiliated with religion, dung, and soon to be done, D-O-N-E. Yah's coming. He's not taking any prisoners, not accepting surrender. Keep your white flag. You're not gonna need it. I'll leave it, but better say it. Don't bother. You're not going to be able to surrender in the end. You're going to be overtaken. We'll get there. Verse 6 again. And Israel was greatly impoverished because of the Midianites, and the children of Israel cried out to who? Yahuah, not Muhammad, not Kali, not Amon-Ra, not Apollo, not Chandra, not Artemis, not Diana, not Thor, not Zeus. They cried out to Yahuah. Let's see what happens when they cried out to Yahuah. Let's see what happens here, brothers and sisters. And it came to pass when the children of Israel cried out to Yahuah because of the Midianites, that Yahuah sent a prophet unto the children of Israel, which said unto them, Thus says Yahuah of Israel, I have brought you out of Egypt, and brought you forth out of the house of bondage. Their prisons, their chamber, their torture chambers. Delivered our children from being gator bait. Our daughters from death and whoredom, our men from homosexuality, and our women too from bestiality, the bondage that we find ourselves in again in 2023. And it's only getting worse, except we cry out to Yahuah. But let us continue on here. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Verse 9. And I delivered you out of the hand of your oppressors, Egypt, and out of the hand of those who oppress you, all the heathens, and drove them out from before you, and gave you their land. And I said unto you, I am Yahuah. Fear not the Elohim of the Emorym, in whose land you dwell. But you have not obeyed my voice. He said, don't serve their gods. Don't practice their traditions, their customs. Their ways are vain. Jeremiah 1 says, learn not the ways of the heathen. Jeremiah 10, 1 through 4. Learn not the ways of the heathen. Mean don't do what they do. Don't study what they do. Don't follow after them. Don't practice what they practice. Don't embrace what they embrace. Don't study what they study about what they're studying. Don't listen to them. They're heathens serving heathen gods at your expense. Israel, Judah, our expense. Verse 10. And I said unto you, I am Yahuah. Fear not the Elohai of the Emorym, in whose land you dwell, but you have not obeyed my voice. He said, I told you not to do it, Israel. And there came an angel of Yahuah, and it sat up under an oak tree, which was in Ophrah, that pertained unto Joash the Amahazari, the son of Gid'on, and his son Gideon threshed wheat by the winepress to hide it from the Midianites. Hiding our resources under the mattress. Old grandma them used to do that. Hide your money. Don't put it in their banks, because them heathens gonna steal it. They were right, by the way. They went through that through the Great Depression. so-called. And the bank robber, the robber barons stole all of their money, stole their land too, stole their farms. When those banks crashed and whatever they did, they everybody who had any debt to them, you lost everything. So that means what? You cannot pay for your farm. You cannot pay for that equipment. Anything you had borrowed from those banks, you don't have those resources to maintain your farms. And guess what? When that system came back up, if you couldn't pay, it's mine. You owe, pay me. Well, I don't have it, master. Don't matter. Pay me. But I don't have it, like the Goodfellas. Remember the movie The Goodfellas? They took it over, and when the guy couldn't, pay him for all the thievery that happened, they burned the place down. They started setting the Klan upon our people, burning them out of their homes, burning them out of their churches, what they shouldn't have been in anyway. And then scattered us all over the place, shivering like little kids, scared to death every time we hear noise in the middle of the night. And to remind us of their viciousness, what did Billie Holiday say in her song? Strange fruit, southern fruit, hanging from a tree. She was talking about black bodies being hung by these filthy, wicked, evil Christian heathens. See how happy they are about it? But our people love them. Some of our people. If you notice, that's a camera shot, and those people look pretty current. That was not that very long ago. For all of you people talking about we living in the past. Verse 13. And the angel of Yahuah appeared unto him, talking about Gideon, and said unto him, Yahuah is with you, you mighty man of valor. And Gideon said unto him, O Yahuah, if Yahuah be with us, then why is all this stuff happening to us? I think about Brother Franklin when I think about this, a young brother. And him and I, we dialogue, and we definitely, we're in the Word and loving Yahuah and thanking Yahuah for where we are in our lives. We get into that conversation. He asked that question too. He said, well, if Jesus is right, he said, if my parents who brought me up in the church was right, then why are we living in all of this stuff? Why is all this stuff befalling us? Why are we sick and poor, don't have nothing? And then I can go right, 5 miles away and see heathens living in their mansions, their gated communities, in their private schools, in their nice automobiles, on their long vacations, and never breaking a sweat at work, if they have to work at all. And I told him, I said, that's a fair question, but it's an obvious one. Get the book out. Let me show you where you can find it. And why it's happening that way. He got it. He's 25. So all of my young brothers out here who are listening to me, if he could do it, so can you. If he can wake up without becoming an atheist and hating the Creator, so can you. If he can come out of religion and come out of the church without becoming a heathen, hating of self and people and the Creator, so can you. And you young daughters of Zion, my little sister Naya, but it's all about her first name. Perfect example. She came out too. Raised in a home. I'm not gonna get into the deep details, but they sure weren't practicing what we would call, the nuclear family. Mom, dad. It was kind of twisted without going farther than that. If it ain't mom, dad, you figure out what the rest of it was. But she came out of it. And now she's a beautiful mother in the truth with 2 little beautiful babies, learning and growing every single day. So sisters, young sisters, you don't have to take the sexy nasty dog woman, whatever her name is, talking about how pink her thing is and how brown the other thing is. You don't have to take her away. There's a better way. And you won't be alone if you come from that way. But you will be destroyed if you stay. Pastor Pork Chop ain't going to tell you that. As one person used to walk with us, used to call her pastor. The pig eater ain't going to tell you that the pig is an abominable. He's going to tell you everything is good. Just pray over it. After all, Jesus died for it. While he's dying of high blood pressure, diabetes, had 2 strokes, a brain aneurysm, and he has heart trouble. From that very pig, he claimed Jesus blessed. Or he blessed it when he thanked Jesus for it. Again, make it make sense. It doesn't. But then again, to many, they won't consider. So, they continue on that path to destruction. But not all of Israel. Not all of Judah. Let us continue. Then Gideon goes on his crusade. Check this out, brothers. Now he going on this, he's trying to blame Yahuah without blaming Yahuah. And if that don't sound like Israel, think about it. Whenever shit hits the fan, whatever, we always want to say, well, if there was a God, why didn't God, using the word that we typically use, not understanding that Abba Yah has a name. His name is Yahuah. You don't name him dog, D-O-G or G-O-D. You have a name. Would you like somebody to call you, hey girl, hey boy, hey man, hey woman? And you're an earthly man and don't want nobody talking to you like that. Why would you call Abba Yah by a title when he has a name? The most powerful name known to mankind as we know it today. It's probably a greater name than that name. But the one we know that's written inside of his Torah and Tanakh is Yahuah. So we're going to go with that. But they're quick to blame God, 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 God. Run, 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 run. I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. To your own damnation. Can't run from death. You can only run to it. But life, on the other hand, you can embrace it and continue in it. But that comes with righteousness, righteous living. And what is righteousness? Serving Yahuah and Yahuah alone and obeying his Torah. With all your mind, all your body, and all of your spirit, which means to the best of your ability. If I can interpret it for you. Let us continue on here. Praise Yahuah. Here he goes, though. Watch this song and dance, brothers, sisters. And Gideon said unto him, O Yahuah, if Yahuah would be with us, then why is all this stuff happening to us? I'm using some words that you can relate to, so I know the word said be falling, but we talking to each other. I'm where you at. Come where I am. Saying, where be all these miracles which our fathers told us about? Saying, did not Yahuah bring us up out of Egypt? But now Yahuah has forsaken us. He don't care about us. And he delivered us into the hands of the Midianites. In other words, if he was really what he was, then why are we living like this? Blaming Yahuah for what man brought upon himself. Israel blaming Yahuah for things that Israel brought upon itself. But since we don't know anything, we won't consider anything. We let the little wicked demons in these altars and these churches or buildings with their religion come at us with silly, childlike teaching. You know what I'm saying? Religion for idiots. Let me tell it. That's just my personal opinion. Because they went to cemetery school, as Sister Maria calls it. They say seminary school. Where they're taught and trained to keep you under seduction. To keep us in poverty. Or impoverished. Because they get paid to do that. That's part of the job. Teach them only what we say you can teach them. But can we at least tell them it's like, hell no. Let's go on. Verse 14. And Yahuah looked upon him and said, go this in your might, and you shall save Israel from the hands of their enemies. Have I not sent you? And I'm sure Gideon like, you talking to me? Now I'm that taxi driver, Robert De Niro, and Jodie Foster. You got to be pretty old to know what I'm talking about. You talking to me? And then he brought hell on his asses after that. Y'all said, this is Gideon. You talking to me? Y'all said, yeah, I'm talking to you. Like he's talking to many of us right now. Yeah, he's talking to you. He's talking to all of us. Some of us are going to listen. Some of us are not. But he's talking to all of us. The book is written for all of us. Our story, written in a book that was given to us by Yahuah to warn us of the heathens, for which he also put in here. So you know how to spot them, how to identify them, and stay away from them. Some of us are now listening. Unfortunately, too many of us are not. So nothing's changing. I'm talking about holistically. Individually, yes. Holistically, as a group, no. Not until we all cry out to Yahuah. But there's a way out of the mess. And I've said it now several times. Repent, turn back to Yah, walk away from all unrighteousness. And that's anything that's not allowed inside of Abba Yah's Torah. It's unrighteousness. And then you'll see the power of Abba Yah in your life. That's simple. Yeah, just that simple. Almost too good to be true for some of you because you won't do it. But if you were to try it, you'd realize that's power. That old saying, there's gold up in them hills. There's power and authority in this truth. The fake Jews, the Jewish know it. Why you think they live by it? Look what it's doing for them. If you need something to compare it to, they live by our Torah. And they're not even us. And look how they're being blessed. They own everything. We're serving the heathen gods, and we own nothing. They're serving our Yahuah's Torah. They own everything. We serving the heathen's gods, and we own nothing. We have nothing. Not own, I already said earlier, we have nothing. They possess everything. We possess nothing. With this rare exception of those who Abba Yah's had his hands on them all the way through this journey, because in this day and time, he knew he would be able to count on them. He knew they would show up and show out. What do you mean show out, Brother DFG? Call it out. Cry aloud. Spare not. Lift up your voice like a trumpet. Tell Jacob. Tell Israel. Tell Judah that Abba Yah is sick of us transgressing against him, and we had better get our act together before he destroyed 2/3 of us. That's 2 out of 3. Verse 15. And he said, Gideon, O Adonai, wherewith, meaning Abba Yahuah, wherewith shall I save Israel? He said, who, me? How am I going to do that? I'm just one person. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm the least in my father's house. I'm a so-called ugly duckling of the family. I'm the one in the family that everybody was always talking about. I'm the one in the family everybody thought was a little strange, different. So surely I'm not going to be the one to make a difference. But Abba Yah said, do I have news for you, Mr. or Mrs. Anomaly? An anomaly, an outlier. No, I did that intentionally because I did not want you to be a part of what they were doing. That's why they talked and ridiculed you, tried to discourage you, tried to hold you down, hold you back. But you notice that everything they did, nothing worked. It wasn't because of their effort. It was because of my grace and my mercy. See, that's the you amongst us. I'm telling you about you. Let's go on. And Yahuah said unto him, surely I will be with you. And you shall destroy the Midianites as one man, almost like Samson. He said, you're going to kill all them filthy, uncircumcised Philistines. David killed Goliath, but Samson killed a bunch of them heathens. But he told Gideon, yeah, you one man. Daughters of Zion, whatever your Midianites are, your oppressors are, the wickedness, the evil around you, Yah says the same thing applies in that regard. Come to Yahuah, submit to his Torah, and he'll destroy all of that wickedness that's got you entangled. What that little wicked demon Jada Pinkett said, her entanglement, which is a clever word for her filthy, wicked, adulterous behavior. Whorish behavior. Let's call that what that was. Yah says, I'm gonna get you from out of this fish net that you got caught in, Israel. Those of you who don't want to be on somebody's dinner plate. So I'll get you out, but you got to swim in my direction. And I could do it with one, or I could do it with many. I can do it with few, or I can do it with many. But let's see how he decides in this instance. So he starts with one. And he said unto him, verse 17, if I now have found grace in your sight, then show me a sign that you talk with me. And brothers and sisters, remember, there's nothing wrong if you want, evidence or witness if Abba Yah wants something from you or want you to be doing something. There's nothing wrong with asking him for a witness. Don't go ask some damn man, hey, what you think? That's not a witness. That's called, influencing, leading the witness. No. Abba Yah will send a witness. He'll do something. You'll see, something will happen that you will think it's a coincidence, but it's not a coincidence. Somebody will come right up to you and tell you, say something, you sitting there thinking about something, somebody walk up and, oh, by the way, they got a sale on tires. And you standing in the park thinking about you got to get new tires for your car. And you're looking over like, how the hell you? That's what I'm talking about. Laying there thinking, and then someone calls you and says something. In a moment of reflection, and all of a sudden someone texts you something, you're looking at it like, what the? See, Abba Yah can validate anything that's righteous amongst us if we seek, if we're seeking him out for it. If our hearts are right. Because otherwise, he's not even going to hear our prayers. We're taught in the book of Proverbs 28:9. Go read it. Matter of fact, I'll start right here because, again, some of these things I know you've heard it before, but teaching is repeating until learning has occurred. Far too often when we teaching, they want to just run on through it. Well, we're going to start at, hey, brother, where to start at? Let's start at Genesis and read all the way through. And then they end up don't know nothing about nothing. Reading for the sake of reading. We read to understand. Again, we teach over here. We're not in the business of telling. We will tell you, but we will tell you what we're teaching and tell you, I'll ask you, encourage you to get your saw and get your hammer and do some validation. And then get some execution done. Get to doing. A hammer and a saw ain't gonna do you no good just holding it in your hand. You're gonna have to use it if you're trying to build something. So don't get that twisted. Well, I'm studying, brother, and I'm marking it. And now what you doing with that knowledge? You heard me mention a few videos back. General Honor, an Israelite brother, down that came down right after Katrina and kind of got some order in the damn city. Because everybody in the damn city and leadership had lost their damn minds. Grown leaders, police chief, mayor, and all of them, top level people crying and running. Some were crying, some were running. Very few were staying and helping and fighting. Hallelujah. But let us continue here. Hallelujah. Proverbs 28, verse 9. He that turns his ear away from hearing Abiyah's Torah, even his prayers shall be an abomination unto Abiyah. An abomination, like a filthy, dirty, bloody menstrual cycle rag. So yeah, everything I'm saying, brothers and sisters, is afforded to you. But you have to keep Abiyah's Torah, and you can't be doing two things at one time. Studying heathen doctrines, and then trying to conflate that with Abiyah's truth. When he's constantly telling you, do not mix clean with unclean, holy with unholy. The New Testament, New Testament, whatever the hell you want to call it, was written by men for men. It was written by Gentiles for Gentiles. Even the old wretched Paul, if you believe that story, says he was the apostle of who? The Gentiles. And yet you got Israelites over there quoting it. His writings I'm talking about. And the man said he's the apostle to the Gentiles. A fake Jew went from Saul to Paul, a Gentile, which what he was, because when they called his hand on him, well, I'm a Roman citizen. When they were about to destroy his ass for saying that he was an Israelite, then he hurried up and told him, oh no, I'm really a heathen. I'm a Roman citizen. Oh, brother, no, that just means he was born in Rome, but he was still an Israelite. Okay, yeah, and now, tell me what that's going to get you tomorrow. Is that going to bring you closer to Yah? You think I don't know that? Come on. This big boy stuff we talking about right here. You can do it. You can do it. Come on. I believe in you. Come on. Come on. Keep coming. Come on. Come on. Don't stop right there. That was just a moment of reflection. Not deflection, as you thought maybe I was doing. Let's come on back here to the book. Let's go again. Judges chapter 6, reading now at verse 17. And he said unto him, now if I find grace in your sight, then show me a sign that you talk with me. And depart not, I pray you, until I come to you and bring forth my present, set it before you. And he said, I will tarry, I'll wait until you come again. This is where the sacrifices come into play. The submission comes into play. The acknowledging the power and the presence to come into play. The action, Abiyah, not to forsake or leave, come into play. Because now I want to show you, Abiyah, how humbled I am for your visitation upon me. We call it prayer. We call it sacrifice. We call it giving. Many names. And the angel of Elohim said unto him, take the flesh and the mestache cakes and lay it up upon this rock and pour out the broth. And he did so. And then the angel put forth the end of the staff, that which was in his hand, and touched it, and the flesh and the cakes, and there rose up fire out of the rock and consumed the flesh and the cakes. And the angel of Yahuah departed out of his sight. And when Gid'on perceived that he was an angel of Yahuah, Gid'on said, a Yahuah, for because I have seen an angel of Yahuah face to face, praise Yahuah. And Yahuah said unto him, peace be unto you. Don't be afraid. You're not going to die today. No, got work for you to do. Not yet. Not yet. Hold up. Wait a minute. Then Gid'on built an altar unto Yahuah, and he called it Yahuah Shalom, or peace. Until this day it is yet in Oprah of the Ahavi Everims. Verse 25. And it came to pass that same night that Yahuah said unto him, take your father's young bullock, even the second bullock of 7 years old, and throw down the altar of Baal from your father that your father has, and cut down the Asherah pole that is by it. Otherwise, he's saying, get rid of all idolatry that's around you. All those altars that you're praying to, your father's praying to, your mom prays to. Say, tear it down and get rid of it. Those altars are not built to me. Those altars are built to Baal. But that's not what Mama said. That's what Yahuah says. Doesn't matter what Mama says. Ever consider maybe Mama don't know what she's talking about? Because I know certainly you don't all the time. So what makes Mama any better than you? She's human, you human. You get it wrong, she got it wrong. Or can get it wrong. And Papa shouldn't be taking no mess from Mama with that mess. Okay, Papa? We haven't forgotten about you. We meaning me. I know what you were doing, and it was very much appreciated. Verse 26, and build an altar to Yahuah upon the top of this rock, and he ordered a place, and to take the second bullock and offer the burnt sacrifice of wood and of the Asherah pole which you shall cut down. And Gideon took 10 men of his servants, as did Yahuah say unto him. And it was so, because he feared his father's household and the men of the city, that he could not do it by day, so he had to do it by night. But see, Yah's always going to give us helpers, brothers. Don't be afraid. Just because you start as one don't mean you're going to stay as one, is what he's saying. We're not in this alone. It might be lonely in the beginning, but it won't be lonely in the end. 1/3 of Israel is going to be redeemed. Going to be a lot of us from all over this flat earth. But you may be the one. So don't fret it. Don't run from it. Embrace it. And you may be one of the 10. Get with him and stay with him. He's going places. And you want to go where he's going. Trust me on that. Let's go on here. Verse 28. And when the men of the city arose early in the morning, behold, the altar of Baal was cast down, and the Asherah pole was cut down by it. And the second bullock was offered upon the altar that was built. And they said one to another, who has done this thing? And when they inquired and asked, they said, Gideon, the son of Joash, has done this thing. Like us, boy. We will tell. You want to keep a secret? You know, they say put it in the book. If you don't want a secret, repeat it. You might not want to tell Israelites. Let's go on. Verse 31. And Joash said to all that stood against him, will you plead to Baal? This is the father speaking on behalf of the son. He says, so now y'all going to do the work for the God you said it's all powerful? So why y'all going to attack my son? Why did y'all attack the religion? And so that's what they do to us when we come out. They attack us instead of attacking sweet Jesus, who hadn't done anything, or Buddha or Muhammad or Yahushua or whatever new name, or his name or her name or he, she name. Or she, he. Whatever they're doing in these churches now. In camps, all these men getting together, all huddled up every week with no women around. Some strange things can happen. I wouldn't trust them as far as I can throw them. That's what I'm saying to you, my brothers and my sisters. You got a man that's affiliated with that. First of all, he's in deception. He's lost. He's on his way to destruction. And if he has it away, he's going to drag you by the collar right along with him. Boasting and bragging about he got the truth. But running away from books that are written right in the Torah that he refuses to read because these books are going to call out his bullshit. But he's in the truth. He isn't. They aren't. And they said one to another, who has done this? That's these people now complaining. We've been there already. Verse 32. And therefore on that day he called them Jerubbaal, saying, let Baal plead against him, because he has thrown down his altar. And what he's saying is that their gods are so powerful, let their gods harm Judah if Judah is in truth. Joash got it. He said, well, if these things are so strong, then why are you going against them? Let Jesus deal with them. Or Buddha, whomever it is, Baal. But no, y'all want to do the dirty work, and then y'all want to say, Yah told you to do it. Yah told you to say it. Or Jesus told you to do it. Or Jesus told you to say it. But you're just repeating lies of your pastor, your clergy people, your religious leaders who are being influenced by government officials and money changers, big bankers, to keep you in the dark. They conspired against us. Don't forget about Psalms 83. All the nations conspired, or were confederate, came together and conspired against who? Israel. Why? To wipe us out. And they've been working hard at it. And still working very hard at it. And if it wasn't for the like-minded one or two of us who have come out and then warning others to come out, there would be no hope for us. Thank Abba Yah for you, today's Gideon. And for you who support today's Gideons. The 10 of many men. And women included. Verse 34. But the Ruhuk of Yahuah came upon Gideon, and he blew the shofar, and Eleazar was gathered after him, and he sent messengers to all of Manasseh, and who was also were gathered after him, and he sent messengers to Asher and Zebulun and to Naphtali, and they came to meet him. See, these are all other Israelite brothers who are scattered all over the earth. So when you hear your brothers say Israel and Judah, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you, Naphtali, Asher, Zebulun, Dan, Simeon, Reuben, Levi, Benjamin, Joseph, Ephraim, Manasseh, Issachar, Gad, us. So I'm not excluding you when I say Israel. So our brothers came to the rescue. Praise Yahuah. Thank you, Israel. And Gideon said to Elohim, if you will save Israel by my hand, as you have said, behold, I will put a fleece of wool in the floor, and if the dew be on the fleece only, and it be dry upon all the earth beside it, then I shall know that you will save Israel by my hand, as you have said, Yahuah. So there's nothing wrong with asking Abba Yah for witness, confirmation, affirmation. And he rose up early the next morning and thrust the fleece together and wringed it out and wringed the dew out of the fleece. And there was a bowl full of water. And Gideon said to Yahuah Elohim, let not your anger be hot against me, and I will speak but once. It reminds me of Abram when he was talking to those angels about going to Sodom and Gomorrah. He said, now don't get mad at me. I'm just trying to look out for my little nephew over there in his family. So I'm going to ask you another question if it's okay. It's Gideon doing the same thing. Again, y'all don't have a problem with us questioning, asking questions. His problem is when he answers and we do nothing. And Gideon said unto Elohim, Yahuah, let not your anger be hot against me, and I will speak but this once. Let me prove, I pray you, but this once with the fleece. He said, let me do it one more time, but this time a little different. Let it now be dry only upon the fleece and upon the ground, and let there be dew. And Yahuah Elohim did so that night, for it was dry upon the fleece only, and all the ground was wet. Hallelujah. Well, brothers and sisters, proof, evidence, restoration, one man, many men, our men, turning from evil, trusting Abba Yah, breaking curses, standing strong. That's where we belong. Praise Yahuah. Now I hope you gained something from this knowledge. Y'all willing tomorrow? We're going to study chapter 7 of Judges. Okay? Sort of a part 2. So we can see the conclusion of this particular matter. But I want to say to you, thank you for your time. Again, Shabbat Shalom. On this 7th day, I hope you're resting. On the 7th day, I hope you're reflecting. On the 7th day, I hope you're refraining from pleasure. Go back and read Jubilees chapter 2. It tells you what's necessary on the Shabbat, so that Yah can renew and strengthen you and bless you, as he is about to do without utilizing our brother, from the tribe of Benjamin, Gid'on. That said, brothers and sisters, until tomorrow, Yah willing, have a great Shabbat. Love you, your brother, DFG. Bye now.